Hello and welcome back to the channel of Major92, the Shaman of Gaming, bringing something a little bit different today. Well, it's kind of different, I suppose. I was planning to have my latest installment, the 2006 installment of Rolling Back the Years, be my next video, but then it popped into my mind that the Medal of Honor Warfighter public beta was coming out for the Xbox 360 today, so I decided that I would do a quick sort of analysis, gameplay slash review, if you can call it that. Well, yeah, I am going to review it pretty much, review my thoughts on it, and yeah, so I just chose to do that ahead of the Rolling Back the Years video, which will be next for any fans of that. Anyway, let's get into this. So yeah, the beta came out today. The first thing you can really touch on, or makes most sense to touch on, is the fact that there is only one map and one game mode. I'll go over that game mode quickly. It's not, well, I suppose it is relevant, but yeah, the game mode is called Hotspot, and it kind of reminds me of a game mode that was on the latest Ghost Recon game. I can't really remember what it was called because I didn't play that game very much at all. Where the objectives sort of moved around the map. In this case, it's just like a plant and defuse a site for a bomb. As you can see it right here, I just go in and plant it, playing the objective like a Bosch. But yeah, it moves around the map randomly, and just after this bomb site gets detonated, you'll see that there's sort of loads of like white arrows on the minimap in the bottom left, and that means that before it actually shows you which site the bomb is, because there's about, I'm not sure how many exactly, I'm going to say that there's about maybe between 8 and 10 sites around the map, and it can randomly move from one to the other, and the little white arrows show you all of the possible places it can be, so you can sort of, if you know, speaking to your whole team and you're organised, you can have people spread all the way across and ready for that sort of thing. And yeah, as the attacking team, you've got to, you know, plant and detonate all these bombs. I think you have a 4-minute time limit, and obviously the defending team has to defend it for that 4 minutes, and then, you know, that's one site gone. And yeah, it's quite a decent game mode. It's the only one that you can play at the moment, and I fairly enjoyed it. You know, I enjoyed playing the objective and having something to work towards, other than just running around trying to kill people. So yeah, in that regard, it's a pretty decent game mode. Next, I will talk about the one map that's you know, included in this public beta. I'm not sure what it's called. I think it's called something Stadium. And I'm not a huge fan, to be honest. I'm not a massive fan of it. Yeah, I think it's because of part of my experience of this. I played about 4 full games and played maybe 6 or 7 games, which I dropped out of a couple of them, and that was because, similar to the way Battlefield games work, where you can, you know, join a squad and you have an option to spawn on them or the deployment, in this game it's still team based, but then you have a buddy in the game which you have an option to spawn on. And I kept getting in games where I didn't have a buddy in the game, so my only option was to spawn at the deployment, and I sort of became, you know, not so much of a fan of this map, because I just found a lot of my time running from, you know, the deployment. That seems like quite a daft reason, really, but another reason is because I think there's just too many things just like plonked into, you know, not a small area because it's quite a big map, but you know, the sort of tight enclosed areas of the map, there's just too much stuff, and it's difficult to pick up on, you know, the decent lines of sight. And basically what I'm trying to say is that it'd probably take quite a long while to get fully experienced with this map, because it's just, you know, a lot of stuff plonked into the map, similar to how like Downturn is on Modern Warfare 3. It's just like the map designers have just thrown stuff everywhere and hoped it's made a good map. There is a kind of mixture of sort of long range, as you can see here. There's like little holes in the overpasses and stuff like that, but a lot of it is close range, this map, and it's quite a dark map as well, so I doubt Woody would be very pleased with this, as you know, he's a big fan of colourful and bright looking maps. as you see me pick up my first death right there. But yeah, not a huge fan of the map. I just think it's a little bit too disorganised and sort of bitty. I think that's like it's kind of not very grammatically correct word, but I think it's a fairly decent one to use. So in terms of the map, not a fan. Game mode, yes, definitely a fan. I can see, you know, objective players really enjoying themselves in this game mode, and yeah, decent game mode overall. So I think the main thing that will have me talking for the longest amount of time in this video is the customization. You sort of get a little bit of a view on it in this video. I think I show myself sort of flicking through the weapons and such, and as you can see, this weapon's really strange looking. Obviously in in Battlefield 3 you could put like rifle scopes on, you know, shotguns and all that sort of thing, and I think you can do a kind of similar thing in this, although I don't think this is as daft you know, customization options. I don't think the shotguns are going to have rifle scopes and thermal sights and all that kind of thing. But the I'll mention Ghost Recon again. The customization is very, very similar to that of Ghost Recon, because basically, you know, sort of dissimilar from Call of Duty customization. You know, you have a certain amount of attachment to use, and you put them on your gun, which is fine. I like the, you know, the simple customization options of Call of Duty. Obviously, the switching it up a little bit with Black Ops 2. But in this game and in Ghost Recon, the customization goes much deeper. Instead of just having, you know, a set amount of attachments that you can put on the gun overall, you choose your gun itself, and then you have optics, you know, underbarrels, overbarrels, stocks, magazines, you know, all this sort of thing. And you get to choose all of them individually. So as you can see, this gun has got an underbarrel grenade launcher, a sort of sniper scope, which is really weird and a little bit off-putting at times because it's quite slow on the draw, and you know, you get a bit of tunnel vision with it. I'm not really sure if it's got any other really customized features, because it is a sort of stock, you know, base weapon. Because basically what you get when you first start is you choose your faction. There's like factions from all over the world. It's like the British SAS, which obviously I chose. And then, you know, you have American factions, you have ones from Sweden, Korea, Canada, Germany, and yeah, you know, from all over the world, and they have their individual weapons. As you can see me getting smacked in the fucking foreskin with that tomahawk. But yeah, they have the set weapons that you can use for each faction. So I think on the SAS you can use the M4V1, I believe it is, and that's the weapon that you're looking at me use right now. I did try out some of the other factions. I used an SMG that a Swedish faction was using, and I think it was the same SMG. I think it's the like MK18 or something like that. In the Canadian faction, and you can make your weapons look really nice. Some of the camouflages are really cool looking, which is quite nice. And I've sort of experimented with some of the other optics. It's got like a reflex sight and a hollow sight. It's got this. Well, I can't remember what it's called now. That sort of hammer scope looking thing from Modern Warfare 3. It's got scopes like that. So yeah, the customization's a really good feature, but by the same token, I think you can have too much customization, and I suppose it's not really about how much customization there is, it's just the way it looks more than anything. Like, I'm a huge fan of having a lot of customization. I mean, I've played a lot of games, and you know, it's not just like FPS, you know, multiplayer games. It's like RPGs and stuff like that, where you can equip so many different things, and it's, you know, all custom. You're creating your character the way you want it. I'm a huge fan of a lot of customization. I just think in this game it looks a little bit too confusing. Like, there's too many options. If the menu is a little bit simpler looking, I think I'd prefer it. But don't get me wrong, I do like a lot of customization. To be able to make your weapon yours is a really something that I do look for in a multiplayer game. I really like it when, you know, somebody picks up my weapon and possibly won't be able to use it because it looks foreign to them, if you get what I mean. So in that regard, yeah, the customization's great. The menu is just a little bit too all over the place and confusing. Some people like it. As I say, customization great, menu not so eye-catching, really. In terms of the gameplay, obviously it's run off the same engine as Battlefield 3, so it runs in very much the same way. I just think it's a little bit quicker. As you can see, this map that we're playing on, it's bigger than your typical Call of Duty map, but it's not as big as a full-size Battlefield 3 map, for example. So the game plays in a very similar way to Battlefield does. I just think it's a little bit fast-paced, and it's the way I've sort of spoke about like the last Medal of Honor game and this one now. It's sort of like not quite as good and a much more fast-paced version of Battlefield, really. As you can see, a lot of the animations are the same, like the way your character hops over objects and goes into prone, comes out of prone, pulls your sight up, stuff like that. Yeah, it's very similar in the way it runs, but yeah, it's just much more quicker. That was terrible testicular grammar, but never mind. Yeah, it's much quicker, faster paced. The guns seem to kill a little bit faster because it doesn't have like the same, high health and slow regeneration of the health like Battlefield does. So the guns seem to kill a lot quicker, and people seem to drop a lot slower. Not a lot slower, a lot quicker as well. And so yeah, very similar in the way in the sort of core features, the core movements that your characters make, the core gameplay mechanics really of Battlefield, just much quicker paced. So yeah, first impressions, pretty good. In terms of it being a sort of rival or a COD killer, definitely not. For some reason, I think what draws people to COD is the fact that it is, I think, well, not that draws people to COD, because Call of Duty veterans don't like it being noob friendly, but I think that's what draws a bigger audience every year to Call of Duty, which is it being massively noob friendly is not much of a good point or a drawing point for experienced players. But I think that's what sets it apart as sort of audience is concerned, really. And this game, it looks more to be focused on people that are experienced first-person shooter players, and not so much people that are new to it. So as I said, first impressions, pretty good if you're experienced. If you're looking for a new FPS to play online, then this possibly isn't for you. But other than that, yeah, that's my first impressions / review / gameplay / analysis of the Medal of Honor Warfighter beta. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back very soon. 2 videos will be linked just after this little picture, and hopefully you'll join me for the next video, which I promise will be more Rolling Back the Year series. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you then. 9-inch dick.